So I'm in this place where I'm starting to, and this is me just in this very moment or in the past few days. It's the week of December of 2025, the first week of December 2025, and there's a lot of talk right now. And I've been doing some just digging and looking into like this idea of the AI bubble. And I don't know a ton about, just to be frank, I don't know a ton about, different bubbles. As I've been doing research, there was, there was a dot-com bubble in the early 2000s. There was a stock market crash, or there was a crash in the market, I guess I should say, in 08, 07, 08, which I believe was a bubble. But then even dating back, there was, and I never finished this book, but I was reading a book on Andrew Carnegie and his life. And back in that day, he tried to get into the railroad business because there was a railroad bubble. And essentially, what the idea of what I'm understanding about a bubble, in this case, the AI bubble, is whenever the economy has so much vested interest and money invested in a particular industry. So back in the day, it was the railroad bubble. So the idea was, hey, everybody's going to use railroad. As a form of transportation for moving goods, travel, all those sorts of things. I imagine, right? And so everybody is looking to get on the bandwagon of and make money and ride this gravy train of the railroad industry. So right now, we're in this place in America, and maybe even in the world, but certainly in America, where a lot of companies are investing heavily into AI. And that's why we're talking about this bubble, because what happens to bubbles? Well, they pop. Now, before I start talking about that and then relating that to this natural, innate human craving for chasing a gravy train or a bandwagon, or start talking about that, I do want to say my name is Ryan Holguin. Welcome to the Practical Place, where this channel's kind of evolved in the past year and a half since I started it, where I do have a passion for helping those that are a little bit behind me. Not to say I'm super far ahead in life, but just those that I wish listen to conversations that I wish I would have been able to have whenever I was younger in my career. So right now I'm talking about bigger ideas, macro ideas, and how I'm just sort of thinking about them in my head. But then sometimes I'll dive into tutorials on spreadsheet tools like Excel or Smartsheet or Google Sheets, or anything like that. But then sometimes I might talk about sports. This is really just a channel where I talk about things that I enjoy and want to talk about, so it doesn't become a job to me or a burden. So if any of that interests you, if you just like having a conversation with somebody, just open-ended conversations. I like to try to think for myself, so I encourage you to do that as well. I would encourage you to subscribe. We just hit 360 subscribers, so I appreciate everybody out there for following along in this journey. So I would encourage you, if you're on the fence about it, go ahead and jump over the fence and subscribe. So anyways, thinking about this AI bubble, they pop, bubbles pop, right? So I'm looking. I just did a quick search on Perplexity. How much of the S&P 500 is centered around AI growth? It says about 45 to 50% of the S&P 500's market capitalization has a medium to high exposure to artificial intelligence growth. The top AI-focused companies, including NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Google, or Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, and Oracle, dominate a substantial portion of the index, with the five largest AI-related firms alone accounting for nearly 30% of the S&P 500. Since ChatGPT in 2022, AI-related stocks have been responsible for around 75% of the S&P 500 returns, 80% of the earnings growth, and 90% of capital expenditures growth within the index. So a lot of the S&P 500, which is supposed to be this collection of the 500 top performing companies, I think, in America, is hedging a lot of their bets on AI, right? And so with this bubble, the idea of this bubble, from my understanding, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I'm open to that. I'm just here on my own journey learning, is the problem with that is it's going to get to a point to where the amount of money we kind of gone too far to fail, right? Where we've invested so much money into this one industry that we have to make it work now, because we're doing all these data centers. I just saw an article on LinkedIn about skilled trade workers. It creates a lot of opportunity for skilled trade workers, which is great, right? You need trade workers out there building these data centers that are just going to house a lot of these servers and places that are going to be able to power all this AI, these new AI tools for all these companies. But here's the thing, like maybe the demand is not going to be there. Whenever we have all this supply of data centers and we build all these infrastructure for this, usually what happens, and what happened in like the railroad industry, you think of JP Morgan, you think of Chase, right, as a bank and all money. Well, I mean, he was really involved in the railroad industry, and he was able to come out of the other side of the railroad industry and survive. Whereas there's a lot of other small players in that game that did not survive, and that's going to be the case. It sounds like with this AI bubble, there's a lot of these startups, a lot of these smaller players in the game that are raising a lot of money, which is good for them. They're doing what they got to do in this. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? They're taking advantage of the system right now that's at stake, and they're trying to make I'm not saying they're trying to make a quick buck, but that's just one of the byproducts. They're making some money, but they may not even be having any revenues to support it. They may not be having the actual portfolio or customer base to support the actual service they're talking about providing. But AI is just such a buzzword that anybody with money that can invest in a company talking about AI, they have these really rose-colored glasses, and they're looking to get on the bandwagon. History tells us, from what I've understood, is that usually the companies with the deepest pockets are the ones that survive, right? So the rich get richer is usually what ends up happening here, and then all the small little other companies and people, they end up fizzling out, and it doesn't work out for them, right? And so all that being said, right, I'm not here to make a statement about any of that stuff. I'm just trying to say it as a matter of fact, as I understand it, but. Being that this is the practical place, I try to think about these ideas and distill them down to bite-sized chunks of like, how does this affect me? Like, how does what's happening out there reflect humankind, if you will, the normal person? How does that affect us? Is there anything in me that desires to ride the gravy train? Is there anything in me that desires to want to strike while the iron's hot, right? And I'm not making a statement about that's good or bad or wrong. I'm just introspective. That's a lot of this channel, is like, I'm just being introspective and thinking about myself and trying to understand, like, if it were me, would I try to take advantage of a system that may not be sustainable for the greater good, or even be helpful for the greater good, but I know that there's something in there that I can leverage for my own personal gain. Maybe it sounds like I am making a statement about that. I'm not trying to be honest with you. I'm just thinking about myself, and I think that that's in all of us, to be honest. Like, there is that in me where you want to ride the coattails of, whether it's an industry. I think, I see a lot of content out there about getting into the tech industry and getting into tech sales, and it's just folks looking for ways to make a quick buck, right? There's a lot of talk about layoffs right now, and I feel for everybody that's going through layoffs, but whenever you think about it in a grand scale, like, a lot of the jobs that people are getting employed by, or it seems like, is like they're not really helpful jobs. Like, they're not super productive jobs. They're not really adding to the value of the business. And so, like, with this AI bubble, it's like, when you put it in perspective, like, yes, a company, an investor might be able to make a quick buck off of it, but is this the greater good for the economy? Is this the greater good for people? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question. It might be. We might get on the other side, and sure, there's going to be hundreds of companies that fail and people out of work or whatever, right, that are being employed by these startups and all these companies. But we were able to make massive waves with AI, and maybe that's where the saying comes in, where it's, when you invent the ship, you invent the shipwreck. So whatever new progression we make as a people, as a nation, there's going to be a downside to it. There's going to be some byproducts or symptoms of whatever the greater thing is, right? But if the end justifies the mean, then maybe it was worth it. And I don't know the answer to that question. It's just, I try to think about that for myself, like, when I'm making decisions for my life, whether it be financially, for my family, whether it be for my career, which job I'm going to take, which relationships I'm going to build, those are things I sort of have to weigh out. Like, this might be good in the interim, right? I'm thinking about this job, or I'm thinking about moving my family across the state or the country. there's a cost benefit analysis one has to sort of do of like, well, the trade-off I'm doing, is it worth it for me? And I'm not sure if a lot of people get to that place of really sort of evaluating, like, what do I really prioritize? What's the value here? Like in this case, these investors, these companies, like if I'm raising money for my startup about AI, and let's just say in the back of my mind, I don't know, and I don't really think it's even going to work out, but I can make a quick buck, right? I can raise a lot of money. Am I going to do that? Well, it depends. It depends on what your priorities are. If your priority is to take advantage of the system, yeah, absolutely. Like you're going to win in that, if that's the game you're playing. If your priority is to do what's best for the greater good of society and the people you employ, I don't know. Maybe it's not the best thing, right? So for me, I'm trying to think about in my life, are there the decisions I'm making, are they in the best interest of the things that I care about? And hopefully the things that I care about are in line with what's morally, objectively good for myself, for the people in my life, my family, and then for the people around me, my friends, my neighbors, the city that I live in, the state and the country that I live in. That's sort of where I want to be as a person. I want to make decisions that obviously benefit me, but also thinking of the greater good of everybody around me. You know, it's like, this is a crazy example, right? It's like, but you think about the person, jumping on the grenade, the soldier jumping on the grenade, like that person's doing that not because it's necessarily only in the best interest of themselves. They have a moral compass that inform their intuition in that moment that is helping the 10 other soldiers around them, let's say, right? And everybody around that would look at that and say that was sacrificial and that was good for that. Like that was a good thing that person did. Otherwise, you would have had 11 soldiers wiped out. But that person sacrificed themselves for the greater good of everybody else. And so I think about that in my life, and it's just a hierarchy of priorities and values that one has to sift through, that I have to sift through every day when I'm making decisions of like, what is the top priority in this decision I'm making right now. Somehow, in my crazy mind, I relate that to the AI bubble. And all businesses all investment firms or whatever are people. They're just people that make up these companies. And I'm just looking at the scenario and saying, is this a reflection, a small reflection, a sample size reflection of who we are as individuals? Or if you're thinking in terms of the bell curve, are these instances, are these people the outliers? Or are these people just like everybody else? I really don't know. There's a connection in my mind. Let me know in the comments below if there's a connection to you. Give me your thoughts. Is this something, are you even interested in this? Is this like this AI bubble? Is this something you're not concerned with? You're just trying to pay bills, do your job. If you are, that's fine. If not, if you see the connection I'm trying to make, let me know in the comments below what you think. Are you somebody that is thinking about this? If not, were you thinking about it before? And are you thinking about it now? I'm curious. Start a dialogue. I want to know what the folks watching this thoughts are. Like, am I alone? I very well much could be, which is fine. I'm okay being alone in that. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you found this video insightful, intriguing, anything that was worth clicking the like button. I would encourage you to do that. That would really help me. And even more so, it would really help me if you subscribe to the channel and you never miss a video that I post. I'm trying to certainly do at least twice a week, but maybe 3 times a week if I'm feeling up to it. I still have a full-time job, a family I'm supporting, so I do this as a hobby. I really enjoy it, having these open-ended conversations, and maybe it's fruitful to anybody out there. So yeah, until next time, my name's Ryan Holguin. This is A Practical Place. I will see you in the next video.